Alright guys, we got a loam player. Sorry for all the loam coverage, it's just how it worked out with two players out of a small pool showing up on Monday, both on loam. Although at first I thought that they were on the same deck list, but they are not. This loam player, Inhyeok on the left, is not running Punishing Fire, and I think he's probably got a better matchup against the BigEldrazi player on the right, who might find himself getting Wasteland locked out of the game, something like that, if it goes according to Loam's plan. So here's a pretty fast, aggressive start. It's unlikely that Inhyeok knew what Thunder was going to be playing today. He might know by now. It's interesting. He's got a Chalice on 0, but the Mox is already in play, so he would have preferred to land that first. So Inhyeok gets to accelerate into a turn 2 3/3 Knight. And he will play a Glimmer Post and go to 21. I don't think that I like the Chalice on 0 when you're on the draw, and he already accelerated. In future, any 0 drops that he could play are irrelevant anyway. Inhyeok draws a Chalice off the top, and then goes into a a turn 3 Dark Depths following the naturally drawn Thespian stage. Hits Thunder for 3 here, and already has the Merit Lage on the table. Looks like Thunder will go ahead and create an Eldrazi Scion. I'm not entirely sure what he's drawing towards here. Even if he ramped, well, a hell of a lot, he can't exile anything. Just plays a Temple. I don't think he has an out to a Merit Lage here. He's going to pack it in. Yeah, for a second I was thinking, well, maybe we can ramp into a big scary Eldrazi and exile some stuff, but that doesn't work because the player who takes action first is always going to get the losing end of that deal. And Inhyeok can just create the Merit Lage in response to anything, or just make it at the end of turn and kill him. So we'll go to a very quick game 2 here. I'm not entirely sure what Thunder is going to bring in. It seems very straightforward from Inhyeok's side. He's probably going to take out any smaller removal spells. And then if he's got a better way of handling Thunder's lands, then he would likely bring them in. I think the Chalices and stuff are coming out because the lock pieces are largely irrelevant. The BigEldrazi deck is trying to get up to 8 mana. It's not trying to cast 1s and 2s. Looks like he decided to bring in a Maelstrom Pulse. I like that. The bridges make sense also. Thunder has selected a few cards here. I don't know what they would be. I'm not familiar with the BigEldrazi sideboard. It'd be interesting to note if he keeps the Chalices in and what curve he wants to block off. Yeah, Inhyeok's Chalices are coming out. That's the easy pick there. He's not even going to think about removing Abrupt Decays. They're still alive. I mean, they'll hit mana rocks. They'll destroy a chalice if it's really bugging you. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets stuck with abrupt decays in hand that don't have targets, though. That's just sort of a risk. They're still alive.
That's stupid. That's a 2020, man. It's a 2020. There's no way an angel is gonna take it down.
sorry, 이거 안 넣었어요, 사이즈. 아, 예. 괜찮아요.
Looks like he selected some sideboard cards, forgot to put them in, and then handed his deck over to Thunder. Like a 54 card deck. So we've got a Croson Grip. The Lilianas stay in. I think that's good. Just taking a peek at the bottom card here. Things not to do when you're shuffling an opponent's deck, but things that are fun to watch on coverage. Sylvan Library is probably going to be fantastic here. The BigEldrazi deck doesn't actually punish your life total. It ramps into some big, unbelievable threat. So an early Sylvan Library, especially like a turn 1 Sylvan Library, which is something that Inhyeok's deck is really capable of doing, could possibly just rip you 4 extra cards over the first few turns, and then you can landslide crush them with all of the wastelands that you found. I think that Thunder here is going to blind name Wasteland immediately if he finds a Pithing Needle in his opening hand, which I, for his sake, hope he does.
So you have one black floating?
There's 1,000.
이거 몰라, 이거 몰라? 이게 뭔데?
Alright, we got Thunder on the play here now for game 2. And he opens a hand filled with lots of mana sources. I don't really see any action there. He's going to put it away. And Inhyeok's hand seems acceptable. I saw a glimpse of a Dark Confidant there. And a Mox, and at least one Wasteland. The rest of the hand looks like it's just mana sources, but that's alright for him. Thunder goes to 6. I see an Ugin, a Needle, a Dynamo. Just gonna scry 1. And leave it, that seems alright. So he's got the turn 1 Pithing Needle. Oh, except that the deck has a lot of come into play tap lands, so never mind. If he gets turn 1 wasted off of his post, that's going to be a really, really rough start to this game. It was probably out of necessity that he played the Cloud Post, because I can't imagine him not turn 1 needling Wasteland immediately, given the option. So down comes the Mox. And the turn 1 Wasteland and the Dark Confidant go. Okay, so Thunder can't be feeling good about that. That's actually a very rough start. It might be too difficult to come back from, really. So it's unclear to me whether he had the Ancient Tomb on turn 1. I definitely would never have played a Cloud Post into a possible turn 1 Wasteland if I could help it. So maybe his hand was land light and he really needed that Cloud Post. Just had no way around it. Inhyeok will fetch for a second land here.
Completely unbeatable in this time.
Unbeatable. Longest.
Double Mox into a Wasteland turn 1.
That Maze of Ith actually is a very nice card against Thunder's deck. Here we've got a Engineered Plague that is, I guess it's naming Eldrazi. I can't say that I've ever seen something like that before. Pay 2 and Thought Knot Sear you, rip out a Death Ray. So now we've got a little 3/3 Thought Knot who will still block Dark Confidant on the defense here. Engineered Plague on Eldrazi, that's wild. Yeah, and Inhyeok under no pressure will continue to accrue cards off of Bob. Many, many cards. And they all appear to be free. So now Inhyeok can release the Hounds here. Got a Knight, more mismatched cards. And Thunder, well, I'm sorry, man. He looks pretty checked out of this game. I believe he is distraught over the Cloud Post massacre. And I would be too. Thunder knocks himself down to 14. What could this be? Like an endless 1 for 6? Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, he does not have a way of killing this Knight. And I think he also has no way of dealing with the Merit Lage that the Knight will create.
Oh my god, brutal. Top deck's the very best answer.
He's got an Abrupt Decay and a Maelstrom Pulse in hand.
There's no way this deck can beat it.
The Abrupt Decay is a very clean, easy way of dealing with an endless one. I don't see why he did that. Just wanted to get both trouble permanents off the board. Believe Knight can go search up a Wasteland and just bury Thunder here because he's got the Pithing Needle off the board now. Yeah, he's not even going to go for a Merit Lage kill. He's just going to make Thunder concede to a Wasteland.